Okay, right. Okay, so thank you anyway for joining us.
No problem.
Just to give you a little presentation of the company and a little bit of an insight into how it works and the areas that can be treated. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to introduce Blue Shield BSB60, which is an Italian technology company based in La Spezia, midway between Pisa and Genova, specializing in nanotechnology-based surface treatments. We're presenting an advanced solution which greatly improves grip, prevents moisture buildup, and maintains the look and finish of the surface. The company has got rather a unique background. The founders all served in the special operations within the Italian Navy, and this elite specialized background defines their operational DNA and shapes the way that they work, dedication and precision. Okay, as we can see from, you see that PowerPoint, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to put it on its side. Yeah.
Okay. So a little bit of the introduction: invisible nanotechnology solutions to eliminate slip and fall liabilities in public buildings while preserving historical aesthetics. Okay, let's move on to slide 2.
Sure.
Togli un po' le finestrine, Giuseppe.
Aspetta che stavo, perché ho sentito che è arrivato qualcuno. Ok, next.
Eccomi, vai.
Okay.
Nice.
Right, okay, so looking at the two main aspects of this product, it improves public safety on surfaces wet or dry and can be used inside or outside, reducing the slip and fall risks considerably. It is not a traditional coating or paint, but it's a system that creates a permanent molecular bond with the surface itself. The treatment drastically improves the slip resistance while remaining completely invisible. So it doesn't change color, its finish doesn't change, or the appearance of the surface. Okay, in the past, they've used treatments with acid etching, which physically damaged a floor's finish in order to create a grip with pressure. Or it also meant applying a thick surface coating, or sometimes installing abrasive strips, which of course altered considerably the visual appearance. Whereas the nanotechnology coating instead binds at the molecular level with the original surface material and doesn't damage the aesthetics. Right, let's move on to slide 3. Right, this explains a little bit of how it works, but as I explained before, there's an enormous quantity of microscopic particles that attach little, almost suction cups to the microscopic imperfections, gaps and pores of the material, and they form an ultra-thin, grainy structure on the material under pressure. Whilst the material is invisible to the naked eye, it does create millions of contact points, and this is how it increases the coefficient of friction, and this improves the grip enormously for footwear and obviously even bare feet. Okay, so you can see a little bit on that slide.
Yeah.
The various, but we'll send a copy of that anyway to you afterwards. Right, let's move on to slide 4. Okay, this is just showing the two different types of surfaces that can be treated, and they're a little bit more technical diagrams and how they are improved when treated with the product. And they show both the ceramic or quartz and marble natural stone applications. Okay, so again, it forces the water to instantly drain rather than pool, and it prevents it hydroplaning under wet shoes. Okay, and you can see also for marble, it safely generates microscopic textural changes in lime-based stones that drastically intensify friction and create water runoff. So it won't alter at all the macro level shine of these materials. Okay, right, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, these are the two different products, obviously two slightly different because they're for two different materials, ceramic, porcelain, or marble, travertine, lime-based surfaces. And as you can see from this table, how they operate and also in what areas you find them. Okay, so a lot of public buildings and entry halls to monumental buildings. Right, let's move on to the next slide. Right, okay, let's just look a little bit at the laboratory, at the testing of this product. They've gone through thorough testing and they've been certified by the main Laboratory Sassuolo, which is an independent external centre for research and quality control. Okay, so you can see the three rigorous testing methods that they employ. Okay, the first one, it's the BCRA testing method, which is the British Ceramic Research Association. And it uses a tortoise tool, dynamic friction coefficient measuring instrument. It checks the parameters with a 200-gram load applied to a sliding element moving at 17 millimeters a second across the treated tiles, and the variables tested under most critical real-world conditions: dry leather standard shoes, wet standard hard rubber, to create rainy day scenarios. The test has been carried out recently, the 9th of June this year. It was carried out, and obviously we have the certificates. If anyone wants to see those.
So if it helps with shoes on hard rubber, does that mean it would be able to be coated onto hard rubber floors?
Onto rubber? Sulla gomma?
Yeah, well, if it's causing a friction with the hard rubber shoe, does that mean equally it could be put onto a matting or a floor? You know,
si può mettere questa, Giuseppe, sulla gomma, tipo una...
No. Marmo e ceramica.
Però tipo un pavimento di gomma o tipo linoleum, qualcosa così,
esatto.
No, on these plastic coatings it doesn't work.
No, just, okay.
Okay. As I said, okay, let's have a look at the next slide. Right, okay, this shows a little bit of the tests that were carried out, the BCRA method and the results. Every flooring laid in places with high volume social use must have a coefficient for friction, and the measurements based on the British Ceramic Research Association BCRA method evaluation, which basically measures the slipperiness of flooring. The next two slides, this one and the next one, show the coefficients found in the tests carried out on marble and natural stone, and then on ceramic surfaces. The tests were all carried out in all directions, longitudinally, transversely, and diagonally, and the results were the same for any direction it was tested on. As you can see, the minimum legal threshold is 0.40, and the results on wet surface was 0.83, and on a dry surface was more than 1. Okay, wet polished marble is the most at-risk surface, but the coefficient exceeds the legal parameters considerably, as you can see from the results.
Yeah,
there.
So compared to the competition, how much better is that? The best out there?
Well, I think It's probably just over the minimal legal threshold.
Okay.
Quello, Giuseppe, quello tradizionale di trattamento.
Sì.
Quanto è il minimum legal, scusami, il
minimo legale è del 0,40, sotto
sì,
0,40
però
non è...
diciamo le altre trattamenti che sono con altri prodotti, che risultati hanno quelli?
Non lo so.
Domanda.
Com'è, Michele?
Bella domanda, nel senso che I think that every product will have different numbers at the end. So,
yeah, I'm just trying to understand how much better this technology is compared to the best of the rest, if you like.
yeah, understood what you mean.
So it's a different material, except all there is different AntiSkid is pellicola, okay? But I don't know the test because it's a different material.
Okay.
Okay, Jay.
Okay.
Okay, let's just have a look at the next slide. Again, on ceramic surfaces, it was 0.78, and on a dry surface, it was 0.89. Okay.
Okay.
Right, let's move on. Okay, let's have a look. Quello di prima, Giuseppe. Okay, this just gives a little, where are we? Okay, architectural breathability. The treatments deeply penetrate the surface pores and capillaries to repel liquids like water, oils, and grease. And because the water cannot pool or spread, the slipperiness usually caused by wet surfaces is greatly reduced. Going back a little bit to your question previously about how much better the flooring is, it is worth bearing in mind that the duration of this particular treatment is probably 10 to 15 years.
Okay, understood.
I can't tell you how much normally that is, but that's obviously in the first couple of years, it depends how much the surface is being used, where it is, and it also depends very much on how it's cleaned, because if it isn't cleaned using neutral cleaning liquids, it will reduce its resistance. So if it's cleaned with all the correct products, even in intensive use, you're looking at about 10 to 15 years of...
I suspect in reality, because of what it's claiming it can do, that you have less cleanings to do anyway.
Yes, yeah, but you do need obviously to wipe the water away.
Yeah, but you could just be using,
you know,
for want of a better word, you could be using a robot type thing just with water.
Yeah, because obviously the bacteria and other molds and things like that don't get a chance to penetrate into the actual material. So
nothing to feed off.
No, there's nothing to feed on.
But it'd be a very good one for swimming pools, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
you know, on the edge.
Yeah, because obviously there are imperfections in flooring, and that is where dirt.
Yeah, so you're essentially you're covalently bonding to the surface, meaning it's part of the structure from that moment onwards.
Exactly.
But you're also flattening it out. So if you think of glass, it looks like that.
Yeah.
Under a microscope, you're flattening it out so you get super smooth.
So
slippery.
It's just this, you know. Yeah, I mean, the benefit is obviously you can't see it and you can't feel it because it's so small.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
but it does create this friction, granular friction, but more importantly, it does stop any kind of bacteria or any other dirt and mold from growing.
Yeah,
because it gets into these imperfections in the surfaces. Because just going on this slide, by filling these microscopic imperfections, it seals the surface, and the nanoparticles prevent this grime, moss, mold, bacteria from taking root. Keeps the anti-slip surface also highly hygienic and easy to clean. But as I was saying before, it must be cleaned using neutral cleaning products, nothing chemically based. You cannot use anything.
Aspetta, ok, era andato via il team. Ok.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. It's obviously environmentally friendly because it's free from toxic and other harmful chemicals. Because of this, the treatment is a deep nano-impregnation bonding deep within the subfloor pores rather than just sitting on the top. So it can last for 10 to 15 years, as I said, but every surface is different and the usage is different. And so within the first 3 years, every year it would be tested to see its resistance and how much it had gone down. Because obviously if it's something that's being used constantly, it'll have more wear than something that's just used every now and again. But anyway, the first 3 years are very important to check for resistance.
Would you just get some kit that does the slip test for that? I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. Quando rifanno il test deve essere
è una macchinetta piccola che il laboratorio is it a small machine, okay?
Yeah,
a different laboratory in Italy or in the UK or in the USA have this machine is go in the shopping or where you put the nano coat, the anti-slip, and about this machine you try and you receive immediately the response of the test.
Okay, so it's a normal measuring.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
so, but you answered the question.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go on to the next slide, number 10. Okay, this is just an example in of the flexibility of a across a variety of surfaces. For example, this slide is showing showing a public building where there's marble flooring, stone steps, porcelain corridors. So it's just showing that it can be used across a variety of different surfaces. However, it's also invaluable in areas of heavy social use, like hospitals, hotels, supermarkets, kitchens, restaurants, cruise ships as well. It's highly advantageous.
I would think there's a big market in railway stations and platforms and stairs there as well.
Yeah. And also in areas, in gyms where they've got showers, shower cubicles, that kind of thing, which are heavy social use areas. Okay, let's move on to the last slide. Okay, so finally, public buildings and facilities that are in public use, they do need a solution that is optimal in its performance, and the product, the BSB60, is independently certified nanotechnology based product, can drastically reduce slip and fall liabilities, which in turn will give a reduce long-term maintenance costs, and obviously additionally preserves and protects the aesthetics of public buildings and public spaces. Okay, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Obviously, if you, I did see your questions, and some of the questions you asked, they need a little bit more of detailed answers. Okay, so we will answer that in an email to you.
Yeah, that's no problem. I mean, just for clarity,
Yeah.
those questions were related to an actual physical product in the sense that it's a flood barrier system. So that knowledge came from that. So it's fairly generic.
It's covering slightly different.
Yeah, I mean, it might be unfair to, but it was a useful exercise.
No. I mean, it was.
Sorry, Tim. So I forgot before. I introduced Michele. Michele, there is our expertise in the marble. Okay, so if you have marble or stone, if you have some question, okay, in particular question about the stone, okay, Michele, there is the expertise about this material.
Okay. So what I can say, one of the things that caught my eye was the risk and compliance and the liabilities. So we work closely with the second biggest insurance company in the world, and it's got my mind thinking that while they won't sell the product for you, they will tell their customers about it, and it would come under their risk and compliance. So with our experience working with, for instance, Floodmatic and my Invisigard technology, what then happens is they will offer these technologies to their customers from a green fund. And what that's doing is mitigating their claims and mitigating or reducing their premiums. So it's quite an interesting, it's a sort of circular economy in a sort of turnkey solution. Can't promise that, but for me, it falls directly into that.
Exactly. It's kind of off on a tangent, isn't it? Looking at the other benefit of.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because at this day and age, everything's ESG and all that.
And
they want to tick all these boxes going everywhere. Yeah.
I mean, having to adhere to these strict testing certificates now as well, but obviously it certainly affects claims. So I'm sure insurance companies would be completely happy with that.
No, I mean they're massive. They're massive. I mean, they're bonkers size.
But as I say, if there's any of the questions that you raised, we will
sure
ask those in an email. But the conference call today was just a little bit of an introduction to how it works and how it operates differently from the previous coating that was.
No, I can see that. I've got some experience in this field. Or I know about the science behind it, and this is very different in the sense that it's just better still. Most coatings won't last that long. Here I can see dirt literally elevated off the surface, making it very easy to clean. So it's an all-round good. The only thing I wish I was still in Italy, but you can't have everything.
No. Can't offer that, I'm afraid. You've got to do that on your own.
Yeah, indeed. Well, maybe these are reasons.
Okay, then. Anyway, good to meet you.
Thank you for your time.
Comes to mind, just let us know. Okay, we're here.
I will. Okay. Thanks very much, everybody. Lovely to meet you all.
Then. Okay. Bye, Tim.
Ciao.
Have a good day.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao. Grazie mille.
Bye.